What I'll do next here is take all the bark off. I'm going to use my big saw here to do that, and I'm doing that for two reasons. One is to so that I can draw onto the wood easier. I can see my lines easier. The second reason to take the bark off is so that my carving bar chain stays nice and sharp. Bark is the thing that kills your chain, not the wood inside. Alright, so the bark is off, and you can see I drew this grid back on the wood. And now what I'm going to do is basically take these wings here, these rough cut wings, and I'm going to thin them out and make them look like the wings here. Get a nice gradual curve and just thin them out. That's the next step. Now to start refining the form, I'm going to switch saws. I'm going from a normal saw, which is right over there, to a carving bar. This is called a quarter tip, and this is a special setup. You have to get a sprocket that works with quarter pitch chain, and the tip of this is the radius of a quarter. So this is called a quarter tip bar. The beauty of these is they allow you to plunge cut. You can stick it right in and there's no kickback. Also, this small nose here allows you to do lots of curves and just gives you a lot of creative control. So the next step down is a dime tip bar, which is the radius of a dime on the end. The advice I would give you if you want to try doing this is don't try it with a normal bar. It's very dangerous. Chainsaws are one of the most dangerous tools, lethal, and we should have a healthy fear of the tool. If you're going to try it, I would somehow find somebody who has a carving bar. It's much more safe, and I just can't recommend trying it with a normal bar. It's too dangerous. Alright, I got the wings refined. Come over here. You can see how I thinned them out. So now what I'm going to do is take a power sander and just kind of smooth out the wings before I put the feathers in. Because you get the chainsaw, you know, it gets pretty harsh, rough marks in there. I want to try to just smooth that stuff out before I throw the feathers in. Alright, here's what my power sander looks like. I like to use these discs here. And by the way, two tips. Here you can see my bicycle gloves here. And when you're doing this for 6 hours at a time, the vibrations can really kill your elbows. So this works really good. The other tip is this. When you're carving and you want to clean off, it's nice to have an air gun nearby, and it cleans it off real good so you can see all your details. Alright, so I just finished doing a quick initial sanding on the wings just to smooth them out, and so I can draw the lines on. I'm going to draw the feathers in, and this part's fun. This is a great book I want to recommend to you. It's called The Illustrated Bald Eagle by Denny Rogers, and it is just full of just awesome sketches of eagles, great studies on every part of the eagle. Make sure you get your proportions right and everything. So one of the main things about doing eagles to make them look real is the 6 main tail feathers at the end. If you can get those spread apart, nice and big, it really adds a real nice touch. So I'm going to draw these on now. Alright, so I got the outer feathers put on here. And I'm going to go ahead and start cutting these in. And I'm going to start by removing these triangles here. Getting those out so I get some nice peaks, points on the tops of these tail feathers. And then I'm going to go in with my bar. I'm going to come in at an angle like this so that it looks like the lower feather is overlapping the upper one. So I'm going to do an undercut coming in like this whoosh, on all of these lines here. Do the same thing here, do an undercut coming around, just going back at this diagonal here, and it should have a nice result. Okay, so to do the feathers, I'm going to switch saws again. I'm going to move down to my dime tip bar. Again, this is the radius of a dime over here, and we use 1/4 pitch chain and a 1/4 pitch sprocket for this. And another tip here, when you're using dime tips, what I do is I grind off the back end of the tooth. So let me see if I can get this here. I'll switch to manual focus and see if I can get up close. Okay, the back of the tooth here. I just take my Dremel with a stone and I just grind that down at an angle. That allows this, when it goes around, it allows it to go through without binding up. It's a lot more aggressive chain than aggressive tooth. Alright, so you can see this is what it looks like all carved in. And now I'm going to hit it with a sander next just to smooth everything out. So the trick here is just make sure that the ends of the feathers are nice and thin. You don't want them all fat. Right? So they look kind of thick right now, but I'll thin them out once I get them all carved. I'll hit them with the sander. Okay, so here are the wings. I have all the feathers carved in and they are sanded down. You know, I sanded off all the crayon marks and stuff like that, and did the tops and the bottoms of the feathers. So the next step here is to start working on the body and the legs and the head. So first I'm going to start off with this body here, this kind of large area in here. I'm going to go ahead and draw in the legs where those are going and start refining that. Alright, so here I've got my sketch of the body and the legs, and I measured and drew the lines on according to the sketch, and now I'm going to cut it out. Alright. We got the body blocked out now. You can see, the feet and the legs are starting to take form now, and the tail feathers.